God bless you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Oscar Blue, live from south of the border, giving you guys still the continuance of the caravan that had left just a couple of days ago. 3,000 migrants. They are resting right here at a municipal city that is called Huehuetan. I'm gonna walk in the middle of it, but first and foremost, I would like to say to every single one that is listening out there, justice has been served. Divine justice has come back to the world. Uh, God is good. That's the only thing that I can say. This huge disaster of open border policies and immigration policies, it is going to end. Uh, this disaster of migrants dying, of the cartel operating massively in South America, people dying in the middle of the jungle, people dying in caravans, people dying being in trafficked through the United States, the enormous trafficking of children that is occurring in the borders, that it is going to end. And hopefully that will end. That's the number one thing that we have. There's an enormous possibility that it is going to end. And congratulations to the people that supported President Trump. He is going to go back to the office and fix this mess. And this caravan left just yesterday. They started walking with the idea that they can get to the middle of the city and the idea that they can get to the middle of the country, like Ciudad de Mexico. And as they get to the middle of the city and middle of the country, they're planning to basically get on the CBP1 app and try to enter under the claim of refugee and asylee. One of the th- one of the things that has been, one of the principal things that has been President Trump saying is that he is going to eliminate the CBP1 app, or he's going to froze the CBP1 app, and this will not continue. So the next thing is to ask all these people, what are you going to do now? If you apply with the CBP1 app, but if you do not get in from here to January, because in January, things are going to drastically change. Things are going to drastically change. In January, everything is going to be completely changed. Everything is going to be pushed back. Every immigration policy, it is going to be completely different. 180 degrees of a change. It is going to happen. For everybody that is joining in on Facebook, YouTube, and X, buy me a coffee. It is right there, pin in the chat. Meanwhile, you guys are celebrating. We are over here sacrificing our work, bringing you guys the reality and truth of the news. We have been doing this sacrifice for years now, exposing the disaster of the Biden border policies for years. And also before that, this is our 12th caravan walking and documenting, and we have been 4 times in the Darien Gap. So we completely appreciate your support. I will greatly appreciate it. So we're here. This is going to drastically change. It's one of the questions that I want to ask the migrants. What are you going to do? This is the lies, the normalization of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, the thing that the education of the new level of education to the migrants worldwide, their agenda was to educate them and to tell them it is okay to migrate through a jungle. It is okay to migrate through a mountain. It is okay to risk your life through a jungle. It is okay to go back and smuggled in the back of a tractor trailer. It is okay to walk for kilometers and kilometers on a caravan. It is okay to jump a wall. It is okay to be smuggled and trafficked by these horrible cartel individuals, which the migrants put their hands in their lives. their lives in their hands, excuse me. And this is a normalization of a conduct. The Democrats, the progressive liberals, and Kamala Harris and Biden were in Mayorkas was basically this. And by the way, now that Donald Trump is going to be back in office, I want to say something. And I want to make it, I will say this right now in the middle of all of this. Let me just put this tripod right here. I'm going to say it in the middle of all this crowd. Let me put the tripod right here. And then I want to say something to the American audience. Something to all of you right here. Hopefully you will give me the time to say it to all of you. Let me just flip the camera over here, and I will flip the camera right now in the, let me just go over here where the shade doesn't hit me right here. Here we go. I want to say something to all of you right now. Hold on. Here we go. Good morning to all of you. I want to say something to all of you. Good morning on Instagram. Good morning in Facebook, YouTube, X. Good morning on all platforms. This is what I wanted to say. Now that Donald Trump will be back in office, to everyone that is a Trump advisor, now it is the time to prosecute Alejandro Mayorkas. He's the one that caused all this mess, all of this, all that you see right here, all of this mess. He's the one that caused it. There has been several months now where Alejandro Mayorkas has been quiet, has not been saying a thing, has been silent. And the reason why is that he knew that justice was going to come for him. And this is the number one thing. Now that Trump has won, it is such a greater time to prosecute this man for crimes against humanity, for treason for his country, for numerous violations against human rights, and for numerous violations against all the situations that happen over here at the border. They need to prosecute Alejandro Mayorkas for his incompetence. He knew his lack of diligence. He knew exactly what was going on at the border. He knew exactly what the enormous trafficking of children. He knew exactly the enormous quantities of rape, abuse, that it was happening on every border in Central and South America. He knew exactly everything. And they need to prosecute Alejandro Mayorkas. There's a couple of liberals coming in, and the only thing that they know what to do, there's a progressive liberal right here, possibly a Kamala Harris supporter, using profanity language. That's the only thing that's their defense mechanism. They don't know anything but to insult and to yell. And guess what? Let me just tell you, guess what? To all you progressive liberals, you lost massively by a landslide, massively, massively. The American public today decided that they wanted a freedom. They want to end the contamination of fentanyl inside of the United States of America. They want to end this level and this education that you guys are for gender ideology of transformation of young kids, and to make them think that they can be a woman when they're a man, and a man can be woman when they're 5, 6 years old. Guess what? You lost. God won. The devil lost today. That's the number one reason why. You're upset. You're yelling. You're insulting. And that's what you do. That's the only thing that you do. That's your only defense mechanism. And you know the beautiful thing about it? That your justification language, it is done. It is over. What is your justification language? You're a fear monger. You're creating hysteria. You're conspiracy theorists. You're a white supremacist, a white imperialist. You're xenophobic, transphobic, homophobic, pronoun-phobic, fatphobic, racist, fascist, narcissist, bigot. This language is done. You're done. You're not going to be able to label people and cut their freedom of speech and label them for life to be denigrated in public. You're done. This crisis that you see right here in the back, I'm a pro-migrant myself. I believe immigration is a human right. But in those human rights, you have laws and you have processes, and we need to obey those laws. And we need to obey those processes and understand that there's a door and there's a way to enter to every country. We need to understand that first and foremost. That's what we need to understand. And what we see behind right here, all these caravans, the disaster of these caravans, the disaster that has been created under the Biden administration, it has irreparable damage in Central and South America. The level of contamination in the Darien Gap, it is irreparable. Irreparable. But the only thing that is, and the only thing that needs to be said is that all of this can be fixed. It is like a building that collapsed. To rebuild it, you need unity. You need love, compassion, understanding. This building collapsed under the Biden administration. It was a complete disaster. This crisis that you see right here, people risking their lives, dying. I've been in the middle of the Darien Gap and I have seen people die. And it is not a PTSD that nobody wants. As a journalist, to see that, it is horrible. But the only thing that I can tell you, and the only thing that I can assure you, is that this, hopefully, the suffering, the walking, the cartel, the organized crime taking advantage of this humanitarian crisis, the NGOs making millions and millions of dollars out of this human necessity. It is done. I have said it multiple times. What needs to be done in the United States to fix this problem, get out of the global compact on migration, take the power from the United Nations that has the power over your borders, give it back to Border Patrol, stop the funding to George Soros, prosecute George Soros and investigate George Soros where all the power. The country that donates more money to the United Nations, UNHCR, and OIM is the United States of America. We need to decrease that. After that, cut the funding and all the federal grants to all these NGOs that they have been getting a tax return of more than $5 million and making millions out of human misery. After you cut the federal grants to all these NGOs, investigate and prosecute and audit all the NGOs that they have been operating on the border. All the NGOs prosecute, audit, and the legitimate ones, let them work. The unlegitimate ones, stop them. All these non-governmental organizations. Then when you stop them and you audit and you prosecute, you execute the rule of law. You charge them with treason, federal crimes, because they know where the 300 and plus thousand children, they are lost. They know ultimately where all the children and the enormous trafficking of women and the enormous trafficking of children, the enormous trafficking that has been occurring at every border, they know where they are. And they are complicit and part of this. And execute the rule of law to all these people that they have been trafficking enormously through the borders. Send a message deeply, hard, to these people that they have been abusing the innocent. This is the reality. The United States of America needs to prosecute Alejandro Mayorkas for this humanitarian crisis that you see behind me. All of the disaster that I have been in, the Darien Gap, it is because of Alejandro Mayorkas and his open border policies. The disaster in Central America, the disaster in the borders with Mexico and Guatemala, where the cartel right now is operating massively. And they're making a mockery out of the Mexican authorities, and they're making millions out of this necessity. Meanwhile, you have a progressive liberals sitting down in Congress, laughing like a laughing stock, laughing of all the American people, and laughing of all the people that they want this to be stopped. They want people to be saved. This needs to stop, and it is going to stop. Today is not a good day for all of you progressive liberals. Today is not a good day for you. It's not a good day. And it is not going to be a good day for 4 years, because the country is going to go back to the American values. It's going to go back to the God values. It's going to go back to family first. Parents will be parents again. Mothers will be mothers. Fathers will be fathers. This new generation of young people, they will know what a man and a woman is. They will understand what a man and a woman is. This gender ideology and transformation of education to our children, it is going to stop. All of this disaster of mechanism of words, it is going to stop. These organization, radical anarchists, Antifa, need to be charged as domestic terrorists. Black Lives Matter needs to be investigated for all the funding and illicit money that they have made out of the Black Americans and African Americans. And they need to be prosecuted, the ones that they have been making illicit money out of a human necessity inside of the United States of America. These gangs that they have been entering illicitly and illegally into the United States of America, prosecuted, incarcerated, and then deported back to their country. Let them take care of the problem. And to all the children that they are out there missing, trafficked, sexually abused, let a message to be sent that God is coming for you to rescue you. This will end, and it is going to end. Everything is going back to basics, to principles, to the principality of knowing what the purpose of a country is. The economy, it is going to take work, but it's going to go back to where it was. The wars, people will stop dying in Ukraine and Russia. People will stop dying in Israel, with Lebanon, Israel and Gaza. These domestic terrorists and these worldwide terrorists like Hezbollah and Hamas, they will pay for their crimes. They're devil and Satan, and they're losing. Today it is a low blow to Satan and the devil. Not today, Satan. Before a Republican, before a Democrat. We need to understand something. Before being a blue, before being a red, before being a conservative, before being a liberal, before being an independent, a libertarian, before anything of existence and everything of value in this planet, we need to understand that we are for Jesus Christ. Without him, this victory will never happened. So we need to bring back him home and make that country godly again. That's what needs to happen. Without him, there's no power that it can come and overrule his power. Let's change the camera. Let us walk. 12 caravans we have walked. We have been in the middle of confrontations. We have been in crossfire. We have been in gunfights in the middle of the jungle. We have been in enormous disasters, and we're still here sacrificing to give you guys the truth. We're still here doing our job with diligence, professionally, trying to do the best that we can to inform you and to give you guys the reality and truth of the news like no other network. Informing you of what is the actual reality of everything that is going on, sacrificing our lives and sacrificing our health. And this is the reality of the problem. Still, Kamala Harris wanted to normalize this conduct. Still, nobody in the United States who was covering this. Real America's Voice News is the only network that it was sent over here by the United States of America to cover this caravan. Meanwhile, people were exercising their vote. Meanwhile, American citizens were exercising and trying to create a change. In the United States of America, there was a massive caravan leaving the south of the border. And there's a disaster in the Commission of Refugees over here in the south of the border. And the cartel that is operating massively in Guatemala with the borders of Mexico, abusing migrants and trafficking migrants all over the place. The cruel reality of this. Let this sink in for every single one of you. Freedom is freedom. And the only country that has exercised that example has been the United States of America. That's why that country has always been great. Now let's see the collateral damage that the Biden-Harris administration has done. Just to inform you guys, there's going to be a massive flow that is going to come in the next incoming months. What is going to be this month of November, the month of December, it is going to be massively migrants trying to make a run for it and trying to make it. People that they are stuck in Mexico with the CBP1 app, they're going to try to make a run for it because they know that that is the only way that they can get in. And there's no other possibility to get it into the United States but to make a run for it. And this is why this is happening at this particular time and juncture, because they know that there was an incredible change coming. So migrants, they are, in their necessity and their desperation, they said, you know what, let's make a run for it. Let's try to make it before Joe Biden leaves office. This is the cruel reality of this situation. Now, what is going to happen to all these children? A lot of American citizens say, it's not our responsibility, Oscar. I know. I know that in your home it's not a responsibility. I know that your taxes are not anybody else's responsibility. But this is your administration, the administration of the United States, the current administration that has 2 months still in power. This administration is still, it is the one that caused all of this. They need to answer for all the crisis and the humanitarian crisis that they have created. This is why I just said they need to prosecute Alejandro Mayorkas with all the extent of the law for this horrible crisis that they have created. Massive caravan that left the other day 3,500 individuals. It was first 2,500, and it ended up in 3,000. Now they separated in groups. Got groups of 2,000. You got groups of 2,500. Got different groups, different quantities, different amounts of people. Buy me a coffee is right there, pinned in the chat in Facebook and YouTube. People, I'm trying to get back home. Hopefully, you guys can contribute. We have done for years. We have done a massive work over there, covering and exposing the open border policies and the disaster of Alejandro Mayorkas and Kamala Harris. As this continues, I will end the live in Instagram. God bless you in Instagram. Stay safe. This is a disaster, really. We're still continuing live right here in the platform of YouTube, in the platform of Facebook, in the platform of X. Over here, there's a woman selling chicken to the migrants. The migrants will continue around 12 o'clock at noon. They will move in different groups. As they're moving in different groups, they're moving and they're trying to continue to move forward. Let's see what the consequence and what it is going to happen. What will happen now? See police officers right here. These are the guys that basically they protect the migrants from not getting run over by no accident in the high road. This it's a disaster over here, man. All of this that is caused by these leftists. I will end the live feed right here for everybody that is watching. I will continue another broadcast in around an hour. I will continue another broadcast. I will do another broadcast for every single one of you. Thank you so much for joining in. God bless you all. God bless you for supporting my work. Thank you. Stay safe. From the Caravan, from south of the border in Tapachula, Chiapas, I'm Oscar Blue for Real America's Voice News. And like we always say, God's plan, it is our mission.